Here we are. It is Uninfringed Outdoors Podcast, Tales of the Strings, episode number 2, here with Cage, Connor, and myself, Brandon, if anybody doesn't know any of our names. But we are going to talk about what we're expecting of this coming season, 2024. Yes, 24 is here, 23 is gone, even though it seemed like 23 was just yesterday.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about, but everybody says it, can't believe it's gone, but let's move on. You know, we got so many things we wish we would have capitalized on in 23, especially hitless deer, and we're going to talk about some of those things of being our goals this year. But so 2024, we're going to go over what we see ourselves really needing to focus on this year, because we got a lot of plans. We just got to get everything fired up for them.
Yep.
So I think number one is just being focused on our accuracy and practicing more with every weapon, not just bows, but guns, everything we're going to use this year. We just need to make sure we're the best we can be with it. And so we're going to really try and test our skills this year. So, I mean, I know I don't practice a whole lot with my bow as much as I used to back in the day. And I think I'm going to try at least I'll probably try and shoot maybe every couple 2 weeks, this year. Hopefully I can. And if not, if hopefully it leads into more.
Right.
But definitely trying to really tone those muscles that help you hold it steady, because I've noticed that, man, I'm not as steady as I used to be. Maybe it's just me getting older, but it just kind of bugs me that I'm not as good as I used to be. But I still get the good group that I want, but it's definitely not as good as it used to be.
Yeah, it's definitely being able to have the I don't even know what the right word, determination to do it
right
at least weekly.
Just to dedicate.
The dedication to just always being shooting. I fell out of it really bad last year. The year before, 2022, I was shooting freaking every day.
Yeah.
And 2023, I was just like, yep, all right, I got my group. I'll just go back in the shop, and I got other stuff to do.
Right. Oh, yeah, and there's always something else to do.
And that's when it's like, okay, well, are you gonna say that and have the chance of wounding an animal, or are you gonna just be like, okay, that stuff can wait till a little bit later?
Right.
And let me just make sure that my equipment is tuned.
Right.
And because just setting your bow down in the shop, right? Well, something could happen.
Right.
You don't know. I mean,
not just something, but someone. I know a lot of people that are always changing their stuff.
Yeah.
So that just means you're gonna have to recite.
Yes.
And you have to get used to it again. Every time you change something, it changes almost everything.
It really does. Yeah, you have to. I mean, that's why. And everybody thinks like, oh, I'm going to change out my knock, right?
Yeah.
Okay, to a lighted knock from an AAE IP. It's like 12 grains. Okay, now you're going to a lighted knock that's 25.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you got to change your sight tape.
Yeah.
Now you got. It's messing with everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's the little things you can't just slap on and during off season or season and be like, no, I'm still fine. I'll shoot.
Right.
I'll shoot when season's here. It's pretty. It's just a big determination.
You got to
factor.
set everything in stone. You got
Yep.
This is my equipment. This is my bow. My sight's this. My rest is this. Nothing is changing. Because we know it gets expensive, for one.
Oh my God.
And two, it's just like, you know what? I got to stop so I can just focus.
Yes.
And shoot. And be the best I can be with what I've already got.
Right. Even if it's just 5 arrows.
Right.
Just 5 arrows a day. Or 3.
And we got the lift bows, what was it, like the end of November?
Yep, end of November.
Was it?
No.
Beginning of December?
Just beginning of December, yeah.
Yeah. So, and those bows, I feel are sweet.
Oh, they lights out.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a new one. I haven't shot a new one since the Triax. I had the V3.
And the V3, yep. That's what actually you let me that.
Yeah, had to borrow that for the bully buck.
My bow blew up.
So but I haven't shot a new bow since I haven't shot a bow since the Triax. I never shot the V3 when I had it. I still have it. It doesn't have anything on it. And but the lift has changed everything, and so I love that bow, and I feel like that's gonna be a fun bow to constantly pick up and shoot.
It's insane, the cross-centric cam that's on it, that was on the Phase 4 to the Triax. I think maybe even the Halon. I don't remember, but I was super skeptical about that new cam.
Yeah.
And it is so comfortable.
It's just the thing, you always think, man, should they have changed that?
Yeah.
And should they
But
change
boy,
it?
Matthew's got some of the best engineers in the game.
And we're going to put a video out of what we think or actually not what we think, or what we can show you on video between a bunch of different bows hanging in this shop and some bows I have hanging in mine. Is there really a difference between this new lift I spent a bunch of money on and this old thing I spent half the price?
We have ones all the way from the switch, the switchback, to the No-Cam HTX up to the lift. I mean, we have every model, not every model, but a lot of them.
We have back to the basics to the very complicated cam systems they have today.
Yeah, we have no cams, solo cams, and dual cams. I mean, it's definitely gonna show like
it kind of shows Matthew's climb to the top. The solo cam was their name to fame back then, and but they were good bows, and now it's just to see where they've come. And I think that video is going to show. But touching back on the accuracy thing, I definitely am going to be setting in stone the equipment I'm shooting for sure. I'm not changing it.
Yep.
But I'm going to make sure I try to get out there every 2 weeks. And the thing about me, when I shoot, I kind of get wrapped up in it. Because I start saying, man, I wasn't really happy with that group. So I start shooting more. And then you almost wear yourself out.
Yep.
And I always told people, and I know it's true myself, you shoot too much in a day.
Yep.
Your body's not telling you the truth anymore. It's just like, okay,
you're way
tired.
too fatigued. Yeah.
I'm tired. You're not going to get the group you want. But that's my part of I guess that's good and bad. You need to know, don't touch your sights. Just know you're getting tired. But because coming from a background where I used to work out all the time, you push yourself to get big, to get stronger. You push yourself to get more accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're shooting a bow to where you're exhausted, that could be a real life situation of, well, we're going to talk about this later. What if you're elk hunting, climbing a mountain, and you're exhausted, but there's that chance?
The one arrow that matters.
Yeah, you might have been pulling up on trees to hike up some stuff. We've never been elk hunting yet, but that's a big goal of ours this year. And to anybody out there that's watching this, say, oh, elk hunting, you don't need to be, you're not climbing trees with your hands. But what if your arm is exhausted, or you've been carrying your pack in a weird way, and you're like, oh, boy, there he is. You have to throw your pack down. Excuse me. And then you're shaky just from being fatigued and worn out. And plus, different altitudes, we don't know what it's like. We're in the Midwest.
I know.
We don't know anything about it.
So just whitetail hunters.
Honestly, I like to push myself, even when I'm just practicing straight, flat ground. I like to push myself to say, man, you can do better than that. Your group can be better than that. You're not done until you put a better group in.
Yep.
You know? And then I think another thing about pushing ourselves is going to be doing some tricky shots or more shots that make you have to be accurate. There's no fudge room.
Right.
So you can kind of expect more from yourself.
And honestly, how we were talking before we started, I think it was you that mentioned, putting the brush in front of the target.
Yeah.
Just to where it's just showing the vitals.
Yep.
Quite frankly, that's probably a likely shot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we don't know.
Well, there's a point in time where you probably had that with whitetail. I mean, I know I've had it several times just walking to my stand, like, oh, I could have shot that deer, but I wasn't very confident. But I had a gap like this for his vitals, But we shot that?
Yeah, we have to have that confidence to take that shot.
And some people might say, don't ever take that shot. But other people say, if you're confident in yourself and your equipment, take the shot.
Yeah.
There's guys out there that take 100-yard shots.
Oh yeah. Well, there's people that take shots that you were like, doesn't seem very ethical, but they say, I know my gear, I know myself, I know that that's a vital shot if it's placed correctly, and they place it correctly, and they show, well, that deer only went 20 yards.
Right.
Michael. Then I'm going to shut up because they know what they're doing.
They say perfect practice makes perfect. When you're practicing that situation, or if you're practicing to the best of your ability to prepare yourself for that shot, then who's to say, even out there 100 yards when I'm aiming at an animal, I still feel the same as when I'm aiming at targets.
Right.
Then what's the problem?
Yeah, there's
as long as the elements are good enough, you're not, oh yeah, that wind's going to take her 4 yards this way. I'm not going to sit there and I got to aim 4 clicks right to even hit this deer with a bow. Not going to happen. But knowing your limits, and I think that boils down to practicing so you know what the limits are.
Oh yeah.
And with this new gear, that's why I hope we prove with this videos. The limits get narrowed.
Yes, they do.
Because the new bows.
They do, and a lot of people will say, just know your limits, right? And it's like, push your limits.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the only way you grow.
Don't just stop at your limit.
It's the way you grow in muscle. It's the way you grow in life.
It's muscle memory. It's like push your limits.
Pushing your limits,
But don't-
no matter
don't push-
what.
don't push it
I mean,
too
that's
far.
a life lesson. Push your limits. Not even
Right.
just bow shooting. Push your limits.
Yeah,
You
it's
don't know.
everything. That is what makes you a better overall human. You
Yeah.
know, push
Yep.
yourself because you have to believe.
Because the limit is only there until you break that limit.
Yes,
and then
you
you
set
got
a
a
new
new
one.
one. Yep.
Push your limits
Push the bar
because
higher.
and that's one of the biggest things in archery. You know, is people are like, man, I don't feel comfortable past 30. Well, why not?
That's
Oh,
fine.
because that's all I've shot. Well, let's push that. You know,
Yeah.
because if you
Practice
shoot
past 30.
yeah, if you shoot 40, 50 out to 70 yards, right? Well, that 30 is now a 10-yard
Yeah,
shot.
it feels like you. Yeah, it feels like you're not even that far away.
So
I mean,
why wouldn't you push yourself?
then what's crazy about it, the way I look at it is, when I'm looking down the sights at 60 yards, I'm moving like this. I'm trying
Yep.
to keep that pin, and then it's like once you get that steady. Now think about what that does for you at 30 yards. It's like, wow, I'm not even really moving.
Yeah, not even moving.
Yeah.
It's insane. You know, and sometimes I did last year, which I'm going to do a lot more of this year. I would just go to like 110 yards, right?
Yeah.
I would do this right before nightfall, just like for a minute, right? I would go back to 100 yards. I would draw back as if I was going to shoot, right? I would just draw back and sit there.
And try to hold
Get
it
on
steady.
target and just stay.
Yeah.
I told myself I'm not shooting. I got into the form
Yep.
so that way I could get that, whoa, crap, here we go.
Yep.
But then you got to calm yourself down and just stay there.
Yep.
And that right there is huge.
Yep.
If you can just stay on target.
And that, I mean, it'll boil back to, is your gear set up correctly for you? For you, not somebody else set it up for
Yeah.
you thinking they know you, because you know you.
Yep,
we
nobody
don't
knows
know you. Nobody knows you. So it's like, if it doesn't feel comfortable, just make sure that you're doing the best you can to practice to see if it's getting better. If it's not getting better, then something's not right. You did
Right.
If you're not able to keep that pin steady after so much time of practice, and even at 20 or 30 yards, then you know that maybe that draw length's too long or too short for you.
Right. And that, gosh, it ties in so well to the last podcast to where we were saying learn how to work on your equipment.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it ties right in.
Well,
you.
But you don't have to work on it. What I'm saying is make that note of, okay, so I know for sure, because we're all victims of this. I'm not saying it's a victim thing, but you go to the bow shop and they say, well, have you ever measured your draw length? That's not 100% accurate. It even says it on there. This is a baseline for, do this and 1.5 times your arm span, tip to tip, whatever. That's a baseline. That gets you close.
Yep.
It's up to you to find that,
What's
because
comfortable.
everybody's muscles are going to do something different, no matter how long your arm is or whatever. So how you feel when you're there
Right.
is completely different.
Which you are a really good example of that. Because you went to a shop, right, and got
Yeah.
measured for your lift. And then they sent you home with the mods that they thought were right for you. And you were like, no, these are way short.
Yeah.
And you actually went and got a different one. But then you were like, man, this still isn't right. Then you went and got longer ones, did you not?
So I ended up with the lift. I don't know if there's something different about it or what, but the lift, I got the draw length I usually get.
Which is
I got the draw length I usually get, but they couldn't give me the draw weight because of the mods
okay,
and whatnot.
yeah.
And then I was like, man, this feels really short. And so I was like, you know what? I called them to see what mods you got for 70 pounds. Oh, I got 31. I think I'm 31. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, I'll try it. It doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah.
If you go to the shop and they say, are you sure you want to try this? Try it. If you know for sure, and once you try it, it's not going to, for the sake of a better term, it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
To try it. If you can do it, you're going to feel whether it's comfortable or not.
Yeah.
If it's not, you just know, okay, I don't want that mod. Let's go for in between where I was and where I am now.
Right.
Let's boil it down. It's all about that comfort. And so mine, I ended up going with a 31 inch, and it feels like a dream compared to my 30 that I was at.
I was gonna say a 30. That's a full inch.
My last bow was a 30. So I had to do let's say I got my lift with a 29, I think. And I felt too short. I felt like I was trying to bring the bow to me, So and then I took it into the shop. They said they had mods for a 31 inch at 70 pounds. I was like, well, throw them in there, let me try it. If you guys don't mind wasting your time on me. And so I did. I was like, man, it feels like a freaking dream. Granted, I had to change my arrows and everything.
Yeah,
again,
I remember that. Came here and cut them down. And they were like, well, I changed my draw length.
Yeah.
Like, wow. No, that's right. And you know what's actually crazy is on my V3X that I used to have,
I know.
I had 28-inch mods.
Were you used to 28?
I was.
Okay.
Now,
That
remember
was a V3X.
That was V3X, and I don't have that anymore. That was a 29, so it was a tighter string angle. And
Oh yeah, yeah.
I wasn't a fan of that. You know, because I remember I said I was going to get a smaller one, and you were blowing me crap because we've always got bigger ATA bows.
Right.
And you were like, well, the bigger one's better. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. And so I tried the smaller one, and I was like, man, yeah, he was right. I'm not a fan of the smaller. You know, because I had the 31 and a half VXR, 33 V3, and then I got the 29 V3X. And I was like, man, I like the longer ones better. So I got... so whenever that bow blew up, the roller guard, you
Yeah.
gave me your V3,
Yeah.
and that had
It was a 30.
30.
Or what was it? It was a
it was a 31,
31. That's what it was.
31, and it had the 30-inch mods on it.
Yeah,
And that was
30-inch draw.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that was the first time I ever shot a 30-inch draw, and I loved it.
Oh, really?
I
Really?
loved that draw.
Right?
So now, you know, I cut my arrows. I cut my arrows down to 29 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
And I have a 30-inch mod on my lift with, I don't even remember poundage, 75 poundage. But after shooting that longer draw, it was like, whoa.
It feels different.
It's
right?
like it
doesn't feel terrible. It
No.
just feels like, man, that's different. That's,
You know, and I kind of felt like a little pain right here on my last one because it was like, like, it was kind of scrunched, but with that one, it stretched my arm out.
right, right.
And it just felt relaxed.
See, I don't feel right unless my muscles are almost like locked in.
Yes.
Like, to me, it feels like they're locked in.
Yeah.
Like, when I'm at too short of a draw length, it's like if
like
my
I'm trying-
elbow
I'm
is
trying
doing
too
this,
hard.
I'm not interested in that because now I'm using more muscles than I need to stabilize when I could lock it in.
Yep.
And I know people say they hate when they see people doing that.
okay,
But
just-
guess
then
what?
turn
I've
your
been
wrist.
shooting for a long dang time, and I don't care.
Yeah.
It feels good to me, and that's what I'm saying here. Accuracy depends on you. What feels good to you, and you getting out there and shooting the dang thing.
Yes, that is. I totally agree that it only you know you.
Yeah.
You know.
Get your numbers close, and then
Yeah.
tune them
To you.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're setting up your bow, paper tune that sucker. It's going to tell you if the bow's lying to you or not. And then once it's tuned, now you got to tell if you're lying to yourself. So,
Yeah, it goes into a lot. But Connor, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, to go back to what you guys were talking about earlier about like the shops like telling you this and that.
Oh yeah.
When I got my lift, I went in and was getting it built or whatever. Like, okay, I want earth, yada yada.
when you did the order.
Yeah, and they're telling me like based off my size, I'm a pretty short guy, and they're like, I don't know if you're gonna want the 33. You know, we'll probably want to give you the 29 and a half.
Really?
You're shorter, blah
I
blah
do
blah
remember
type
that.
of guy.
I do remember that.
Really?
And I was like, well, I've always shot the bigger bow, actually, because I've always gotten your old bows,
Yep.
which were bigger. And they're like, you might prefer the smaller one, and you're a smaller guy, that might be better for you.
Yeah.
To me, that doesn't make sense.
No.
Because honestly, look at competition bows. They're longer
huge.
axle.
And
Well,
That's the point.
Stability. You know,
Yes, exactly.
the longer the axle, the more stable. It's harder to
'Cause-
move.
you were telling the people, because the shorter axle, like especially with these lifts, you're on the very far like back end of the bow,
Yeah,
so it's like
yeah.
way harder on that let off.
Yeah.
With that bigger one, I was like, I've always shot bigger one. I'd rather have a longer axle bow.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, we can give that if that's what you're gonna want. I was like, well, yeah, that's what I'm
That's
gonna
the
want.
thing. Yeah, That's what's kind of gotten kind of poopy about having to go to shops is. You got to know a little bit about these bows. You just need to know a little bit, and then learning from YouTube is going to teach you plenty of what you need to know. And hopefully you learn something from this. Just be comfortable with what you know you've had in the past will tell you for sure. Just like deer activity. What they've done in the past will kind of tell you what they're doing now.
In the future, yeah.
Yeah, so just know what you've had in the past. Like, do you for sure want to change anything? Not based on their opinions, but what I thought of what I had to deal with on that last bow. Because I almost considered My first lift came in with 65-pound mods. I almost thought about sticking with 65.
Oh,
I was
that's right.
I was
I
like,
remember.
that's kind of nice dropping down a little bit in weight. Not saying it was hard to do 70, but I was like, dang, that's a difference. That's like, that's kind of like feather-like. you know?
Yeah. It's just like,
Yeah. So it's like, that little bit of change kind of like,
loosened up
But
some
I was
muscle.
like, you know what? I did the 70. I was like, okay, it's not a big deal.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. And going back to Connor, that's I understand like the smaller ATA. That's why also me and you specifically talking about in this room would not like a shorter ATA at all, because the more your
I
draw
think I'm
length
too
gets,
long to
yes,
be a- to
you're
be the
31.
shorter one.
That's the 31 and a half is no 30.
30 and a
I think
half,
30 and
I
a
think,
half is the longest on the 29
I believe so.
and a half.
The 29.5.
And it's obviously obvious, but the longer your draw is on the shorter ATA, if you're at the back end of the draw cycle, it's gonna be rough.
And plus, your string angle's so sharp.
Oh my gosh!
And honestly, that's part of my anchoring point. I have to have that string a certain way.
Yep.
And now, because I've gotten used to what my bow had, and you start sharpening that string angle, it's not the same.
well, then and the thing is whenever I got my V3X, the 29, right? I shot worse with that than any other bow I've had.
Really?
Me and that bow did not. I love that bow, right?
Yeah.
It felt good. I like the accessories that you can do with it, but I just could not shoot as well with that bow as I could with a longer ATA.
Yeah.
And it's
Honestly, I don't think you're sacrificing anything to
No.
go, what is it, 3 inches longer?
yeah.
I think it was, what is the 30 and 30? Or 29.5.
In my opinion, it's a gain. I mean, it's nothing but gain.
Some people say, it's good for tight situations, but I don't know. Like,
Okay.
you're talking about an inch and a half either way. Let's talk about in the regular dimensions.
Yeah, up here and up down
inch and a
here.
half. So this way is an inch and a half different. I don't think I can.
Yeah, and everybody says, whoa, and they'll be like, what kind of hunting are you doing, And I get it. That's a generic question you ask,
Yeah.
right? That's for your, I'm just getting into hunting,
Right.
Here's what I want to
Well,
do.
I don't know,
But,
man.
here's the thing, I know what I like.
Yeah.
Why are you telling me what I
And
like?
honestly, to new shooters, new hunters, like a shorter axle bow is gonna be a little less stable for you. So you really want to fight that as a new shooter too.
Yeah.
Like when I started hunting, you had bows that that were like this
I
long.
know. You got one hanging in your
The
shop.
old Reflex Grizzly is what
Yeah.
it's called. That Butte. And,
I think it was like 45 axle.
I bet
Like,
you
dude,
it
Nick.
only cost about $400.
Trying to lift, huh?
And so I think definitely, stick with the equipment you got, and we're sticking with our equipment we got now. The lift is just beautiful. I really can't wait to put that into use. I'm really kind of anxious to see how it affects, because it's such a quiet bow compared to any other bow I've shot.
It is.
How it's going to affect the string jump. Because I always deal with string jump with deer. Because
Right.
it's like they always seem to have that sixth sense that you're there. So you always get that string jump. And also, something I've picked up from the Drury Outdoors, watching them all the time, because I don't know them. The Mark Drury always preaches, if they're out past 30 yards or so, aim low, because they're going to drop.
They're going to drop.
And I was like, man, why didn't I ever just put that in my brain? Because I've seen it time and time again. Of a deer drops as soon as you shoot. Well, not as soon as you shoot, but a deer drops by the time the arrow gets there. I was like, why didn't I ever just put that in my brain?
No,
just aim lower.
the craziest thing is, you could be watching a video, and they'll range it and they'll pop up the little prompt, deer's at 45, and you're gonna be like, that thing's gonna drop. But when you're in that situation,
Right.
you don't think about that.
Exactly. You're like, I just gotta shoot.
Get to the vitals. Get to the vitals.
He's gonna go.
Let it
He's gonna go. He's gonna run.
And then it's a lot to think about. But that also goes back to knowing your equipment.
Right.
I mean,
And I think what I'm going to do to try and implement that in my practice is maybe when I start practicing at 30, I'm going to take a few shots where I mentally say, aim at the bottom of the dot. Don't aim center of the dot or whatever.
to force yourself to hit.
Yes.
Make sure.
Just make sure I'm picking a point.
Yep.
Because you're going to have to do that at a deer. I'm going to, they don't have dots. It'd be nice if they did. But
well,
no wonder I missed. I think I'm just going to pick a point, like, all right, aim at the bottom of the dot so I can compensate for that. Then I can start to tell myself, we got to pick that point and make it happen. So that way I know out at 30, hey, do I need to aim at the bottom of the dot? Well, okay, so the bottom of the dot would be about just above 2 inches above the chest line or something, the belly line. You know, so I'm just going to try and implement that more. Just remember to take a few shots, aim low.
Yep.
Not try to aim dead on like I'm used to.
Yep.
Which is hard enough as it is.
Yeah.
I'd say one thing I struggle with is target panic.
True.
Because I've always have like when I like a longer axle to axle because there's more of able to hold off that let off than there is for that
Forgiveness.
shorter.
Yep.
Because I'm sure you've seen me. I have really bad, like, I don't know if it'd be like stamina or stability or whatever. But
Yeah, you
when
get
I'm out
fatigued
here, I'm
fast.
just sitting here and I can't hold it. After
Yeah.
like 30 seconds, I'm done.
Yeah.
And it gets horrible because then after I get shaky, it's like, all right, now I'm in my mind, I'm like, all right, shoot when I get there. And it's like, I need to work on my target panic a lot because
Yeah, you got to be able to calm yourself
Yeah.
down and just.
So one thing I do want to give as a tip for that, think about it as in baseball. Remember when you were on deck? What did you do when you were practicing swing?
Timing.
Well, timing's a good thing, yes. But what did you do? Because you said you have a problem staying stable. Okay. Now let's see about how we can fix that.
Oh, are you talking about the donuts?
The donuts.
Okay.
Add weight to your bow that you wouldn't normally shoot with. Shoot
Okay.
with that a lot.
Get a heavy bow.
Get it heavy, and then like it's just like saying practice out at 60 yards, and that 20 yards becomes a no-brainer. Practice with that heavy bow, and then it's like practicing with a heavy bat. I can swing faster now that I practice with a heavy bat 5 swings.
So you'll be able to
You're getting the muscle used to like,
Yeah.
oh, this is nothing.
Yeah.
You know?
Hold it
It's
out
like
there
me
longer.
stepping down to 65 pounds when I was at 70 the whole time. Oh, this is nothing. That feels good. You know? Then your body's like, well, yeah, we can hold this. And it helps you build if you're in wind. That wind's going to want to push you around, but now your shoulder's stronger, your back's stronger.
Yeah,
It can't
because you
push
used to shoot a heavy bow. Okay, well my bow's lighter.
Put
Now-
nonsense weight
Yeah.
on there that's not going to throw off like tilt you or anything, but make it heavier. And then after you shoot like that for a while, but make sure you're dialed accuracy enough to where you're not trying to chase your pins or something, but
Right.
put a little weight on that thing. Build your
Yeah,
build
just go
your
blank
strength.
bail it. Yeah, and just put some weight on that thing. And yeah, that's a good tip. I've never heard that one. That's a good
So
one.
I mean, just like anything else, baseball, you know, practicing at longer distance, it helps you with that zero. You know, add something and come back to zero. You know, so add distance, come back to zero. Add weight, come back to zero. Now it feels like you didn't. You know, oh, this bow's nothing.
Yeah.
I do think that because I have a helium in my shop still. Now one of my favorite solo cam bows they had, and that thing was so light. I loved how light that bow was. I do think bows in general have gotten heavy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, this year, with an exception, is probably the best year they've had in a long time.
Yeah.
Because they got it. You got the 29.5 to sub 4.
Yeah.
That's freaking light. No, it ain't the helium light. Because the helium's like 3.2 pounds. That thing's light.
Thing's beaut.
But it's a lot to say, here's all the features on the bow I'm giving you
Right.
for this
yeah.
weight.
Yeah.
That's a big statement to
I
make.
mean, look at the riser of the new dual cam bows they have compared to the riser of the switchback or what's
it's
that
insane.
one? Is that adrenaline or what is that one?
That one right there?
Yeah.
That's a switchback.
No, the middle here.
Oh, that's a Z7.
Z7. Okay, that looks just like my adrenaline. Man, I miss my adrenaline bow. Should never traded.
Did you get rid of that one?
Traded it for my helium. Oh, bad idea.
Yeah, so
But-
that's the Z7 Extreme.
I think that was after the adrenaline or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like if you look at the size of the risers compared to what they are now, the risers seem huge now.
Well, the risers are actually longer than the
Yeah,
ATA,
that's crazy,
which is
yeah.
insane.
I guess it's that stability thing they're going for in the parallel limbs creates more stability and less vibration, yada yada yada. So, but anyway, yeah, for me shooting this year, I'm going to try and practice more skilled shots of like what you were talking about, doing scenarios
Yep.
and possibly doing some tricky shots where I have to shoot through something to get to my target.
I think that's
I'm not talking about shooting like I'm going to shoot some limbs down and in order to get to my target. I'm talking about shoot through a gap to hit that vital.
And I think that's super smart because, you know, not saying where we're going yet because we haven't. I mean, we've decided, but we're still waiting on to announce that. But where we're going and off of pictures we've seen, we know there's a lot of brush.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
any
brush
elk,
where we're
any
going,
elk
yeah.
territory. Yeah. Plus, I mean, we're also this spring turkey hunting, and we're going to try and do that with the bows. I think when we get the tag, we can do it with gun or bow, but I'm not too sure.
I thought it was archery season. I may be wrong.
I know this is when our uncle usually, or my uncle usually goes turkey hunting with a gun. So those are the same seasons. But,
Oh, are they?
But anyway, I think you can do a gun or a bow. But either way, we'll figure it out before we go out.
We don't want to go out there with the wrong weapon.
But like, I'm wanting to aim small, miss small on that turkey. I'm not wanting to shoot the whole body. I'm wanting to try and hit that head with the bow.
I'm going for the prize.
Yeah.
I mean, I seen Josh Bomar on YouTube. I seen him do the clip of what you're talking about. I seen him
Cut the head off.
he took one of those big guillotine broadheads and just
Oh, really?
right through it, and I was like, oh, it was at 40 yards.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about turkeys, if they're not paying attention to you, they ain't paying attention to nothing but what they're watching. And I've noticed that, and when he did that, I was like, oh my gosh, just clean off.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Were you talking about the one he shot or Sarah shot?
It was him.
Because I know Sarah shot one, and they had their like $200,000 camera. They said that was the title, and they slowed it down to like frame by frame, and you could. It was almost as if you were on the other side of the arrow with how slow it was going, and then you just see like a straight up like eagle claw just come in, and just
It's
rip
crazy. That broadhead's like 4 inches.
Jeez.
It was insane. It was cool, but no, that shot would be like the shot.
See, I'm used to shooting ground squirrels in your grandpa's yard, like 30 yards with a field tip.
Yeah, that would be the shot. That would be cool
Yeah.
to do that. But no, this would be our first turkey hunt.
First turkey. I've never hunted turkeys.
Ever. I've never hunted turkey.
I've never really been interested in it, but now I'm seeing more of them. I think it's kind of interesting me.
Well, I was just driving home the other day on 74 over there, and right before my exit, I seen probably 20 turkeys sitting in the field.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you need to migrate a little west, bud, to get over there.
Well, that's another thing about turkeys. So, like, every time I've ever seen hunting shows, some guys are in a blind when they're hunting them, and they say you got to practice that 5-yard shot.
Oh, because
that
they
10
come up
feet
on
shot. So now you're aiming high.
you. Oh, yeah,
hit
you
that
got to
10
aim
foot.
high, yeah.
Because your arrow's not there yet. So that's going to be tricky to know.
Yeah, that'll be. I've watched a lot of turkey videos since we made the decision to go for turkeys, and it's got me like, holy cow! Like
Yeah.
they are like on you.
Oh yeah,
When they're
they
there,
see
then-
color, and they're very very acute to detail, so
Yeah.
they know. I mean,
And they're always looking.
yeah, and there's always usually more than one, so there's just how many eyes.
Yeah,
on
that's it's just. I've watched a lot of videos on turkeys since we decided to do that, and it doesn't look easy.
it. No, especially that we're going to be doing with archery.
Yeah.
You got to draw on them.
I don't know if I was talking to you about it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I looked up and like what I saw, I think the Jake and the turkey, they're based off their beards, like
The Jake and the Tom.
Jake and the Tom. Yeah, I don't know why I said turkey,
Yeah.
but
Turkey Tom. Thanks, Jimmy Johns.
I think they said like the Jake was like 2 to 6 inches, and then anything bigger is a Tom.
Oh,
that's just-
really?
that's
I
what
thought
I
it was
was-
the color of their head. See, that's what's cool about it. We're gonna be learning so much new
I
stuff
know,
just by
it's-
turkey hunting, and then elk hunting if we get to go.
Yeah.
That's what
And-
I was just looking, and I was trying because I never knew. I
Right.
thought Jake was like something like without a beard, or I didn't know. I've never been. And they're like, yeah, so Jake is your 2 to 6 inches, and then anything higher than that is a Tom.
Yeah, I want
And
to say
was
that
like,
Jake's usually adolescent version of Tom.
Yes.
So it's like the young boy has gotten puberty.
Yeah. Gobble gobble.
He's like,
Yeah, he's got to drop it. That would be Connor in this instance.
So I think that's going to be like, I'm pretty sure you got to be pretty focused in on where their vital zone is at on a turkey. Because there's a lot of black area on a turkey. You know, there's that black feather area that you're going to be sideways or front. You got to know where you're hitting if you're going to hit body. If you're not hitting head. So gun, you usually aim, just base in the neck and you kind of pellet everything.
Yep.
Bow, you're going to have to pick a spot where you know the vitals, people say the vitals are. You have to go for that.
And you know what I've also seen is I've seen turkeys are a very resilient animal. Like if you shoot them,
They shoot back.
might want to shoot them again because
Oh, yeah.
I have seen countless videos, probably 4 or 5 videos this week as I've been watching of people showing that they shot a turkey, right, and they're all pumped up
With a bow?
Yeah, pumped up, walking up to it, right, and then that dang thing gets up and flies away right when they're walking up to it.
I seen one just like that. This guy and his brother went out there, and I don't know if it was a gun or bow. I don't. I want to assume bow. Went up there, out into a field, went up to it, and the turkey, like, I think it was just like, it didn't want to fly away. It just came back to life and was like, you want to go? And I was like,
Yeah, they got spurs too. You gotta watch out for that.
Yeah.
So.
I watched one where he shot it, and then he made a bad shot on it. But the problem with turkey hunting is you're sitting down.
Yeah.
So his body parts tend to fall asleep. He got up and he was wobbling over because his right leg was numb.
Yeah.
So he's sitting out there mowing it down with a shotgun, which was super funny. But that just goes to show how freaking resilient
Yep.
a turkey is. And like Brandon was saying, we have never done this. We're
Yeah.
about to learn a whole new world of hunting,
And
which is
people say
awesome.
it's harder than deer hunting, which I'm sure it has its things. But man, deer hunting itself is a pain sometimes.
Yeah, and that's all we've done.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, it's
It'd be nice to have a change,
yep.
and maybe we'll learn stuff from turkey hunting that we can put into deer hunting. You know,
Well, maybe
gobble
maybe.
and whitetails.
Wait a minute, why are you over here? Throw punch, get out here. Score. No, but maybe giving us that turkey because that's early spring. Maybe that will show us something that the deer do early spring that they don't do
Yeah,
October.
true.
Which
Yeah.
would be really good information. Yeah, eat, show up,
Yeah, show up. Yeah, they know you're not hunting them.
make an appearance.
Yeah, somebody gave them the regulations.
Well, so but no, that is gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm not sure if our camo is going to cut it for turkey hunting.
And we might have to. Oh my gosh, you saying spend more money?
No, I don't know what to do.
all I know
Well,
is
you know what? I'm saying getting a blind because I've seen people just pop up blind.
That's what I've seen too.
I'm game for that rather than buying. I have a blind. You know that blind I have is made for turkey hunting. That double wide tide weed.
The one where you can
Yeah,
can have a Super Bowl in?
I can send you messages or mail it through.
Well, we
I'll
could have-
fly
we
my
could have-
dove
we could
over
have-
to you. I go over there.
We'd have you two down there, me and Brandon on the end. We could just have our mics on there. Like, hey, we keep talking there.
Yeah, I mean that thing is ginormous. I guess that's what it was for, was turkey hunting. I bought it for deer hunting. It worked okay. The deer somehow knew I was in there, even though all the windows were closed.
Well, they left you a message in the mailbox, but
Yeah, no, that would probably be a good idea. I mean, we probably have a decent spot to do it at.
I wouldn't mind doing. I definitely want to try the whole decoy thing, like
on your bow.
like
Oh my
behind.
gosh,
Yeah,
that
you're
looks-
right behind it, and like ha
And it's like when you bring your bow up, you would obviously ground draw, and then
Yeah.
once you bring your bow up, the turkey
That's-
goes back.
back to shooting, practicing. Can
Yeah.
you draw from your back?
Oh, like that when you're on the ground.
Yeah, when you're down low.
no.
That's what I'm saying. It
and-
takes different practice.
You would want to actually have, and not only the ground thing, but that turkey that's strapped to your limb.
Yeah,
That would be weird.
yeah.
That would be really
be
weird.
a
Well,
wind
I
catch.
see
But
ones
woo!
where when people draw back the turkeys, they don't draw it back and the turkey goes up. It stays right where it's at. So that's why you have to hold your
Oh,
bow
that's
like
right.
that.
It has
And
just a circle that that your sight looks through.
it goes
Right,
from your
right,
circle
yeah.
to your arrow, and that's it. Everything that you can normal draw like this as long as you're on your knees or something like that. But like you have to hold your bow up though when you're walking. So I mean that's still like a huge fatigue thing too.
Yep.
Right.
Just different things your body's gonna have to do that you didn't do whitetail hunting,
That's the good thing about hunting, man.
right?
And it's the crazy thing. We've hunted all of our lives, but like, we don't know nothing about turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And that's what intrigues me so much is just learning
Well, I
about
think
something completely new.
That's another thing we're gonna end up. Hopefully, we can get more of. I know you did some last year, but 3D shooting. I know they probably
Yeah.
have turkey targets.
Yes, they do.
That'll help. I mean, walking around in the woods shooting at 3D targets would be a
Yeah,
lot
you
better
could
than
take one
nothing.
out to our woods. I mean, you have a turkey.
I do have a turkey target.
Oh, do you?
Sitting out back, yeah. Yeah, no, but 3D shoots, that would be a huge mental help.
Yeah.
Mental and
Going
physical.
somewhere you're not comfortable is
Yes.
like it's gonna be kind of like going somewhere you're going hunting and like elk hunting. We're not gonna be comfortable there.
No.
We've never been there.
I don't know no one there. I don't know. This isn't my back door.
Yeah.
I can't just go be like, "Oh, man, I had a bad day. I'll go try my
Yeah.
next spot. No.
Right.
You're going back to the same spot
Yeah.
because that's all you got.
If you don't change, if you don't figure something out soon, your week is up and you're going back home and that's it. Like for turkey hunting, you know, they only got I think a week season.
Yeah, a week at a time, I think.
Yeah. So, and I don't know how they draw or anything. So maybe you get 1 week now and 1 week later.
Yeah, I think our county, where we'll be at hunting is we only got 3 of the 5 seasons.
Okay.
We got 1, 2, and 4, I think.
Okay.
So, and I do think they're only a week long. So you have, I don't know when the dates are yet. I don't know if it's posted yet or what. But
it was on the draw thing.
Was it? I took a picture of it, then I'll be able to see it. Yeah. But we only have that week, once that week's up, okay, you gotta wait till the next one.
Yeah, it's almost like shotgun season for deer. I know you guys didn't do a whole lot of shotgun hunting, but like for me, it's like, dang it, I got 3 days this week and I got 4 days that week. I better get something happening.
Yeah.
And then I don't get out till the last day.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, that last day, though.
I know, right?
Because the other days you've been testing your equipment. Right. We haven't had no time to test equipment.
Shooting. Come on. Get out there and shoot this stuff.
And that doesn't just pertain to archery. That is freaking everything.
Well, I know you guys were trying to whip up your muzzleloaders right before muzzleloader season.
I know. I had to order my breech plug a week before season was here because I got too lazy and didn't do it before. And
now we know.
Yeah, but no, I think we're ready for next year, and we're gonna fix some things. But going back to the target aspect of it, I think that'll be a huge I don't even know what the word is, but that'll help you just all around because it's pushing your limits.
Yeah.
It's back to pushing your limits. Because that's not something we're used to. We don't go shoot targets all the time. We don't just drive.
It's back to that. Yeah, it's back to that. Once we're good with our equipment, let's push that.
Yeah.
Now we can go 3D shooting and see if that pushes me any.
Yeah.
Because were you ranging then, or were you just shooting?
Yeah, I was ranging. This one had range.
So I like to practice every now and then. Like, okay, I think that's 35 yards.
Yeah. Well, we had our very first video ever. We did that. Remember?
Oh, really?
Remember?
Really?
We had.
Oh, yes.
It was 36 yards, and I guessed 38, and you guessed 35.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What the? I'm way high." I was like, "What did I do?" And it's something that it helps you overall of everything.
Yeah.
If you can just
because you can't guarantee you're gonna have a rangefinder ready.
Yeah, go out there and throw that target out and back. Whoa, that's pretty far.
And
that's
I want to buy. I don't know if you've seen the Morel. I think
the
Morel
dice.
The dice. I want to buy that.
The red one.
Yes. I want to toss that out there and okay, what is it? All right, what dot?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping for the big white side. Just one big dot.
Yeah. Nailed it.
Yeah. How did I hit the red?
Got all but green on that one. Grass is good.
That'll work. Let's go on. No, I got you. Connor, what do you got? What are you thinking about target?
Like, what do you mean? Like,
but you want to build on your muscle memory, apparently.
Yeah.
That's staying stable.
Yeah, I've always been bad at that.
I think between all of us, we can help you with that.
Yeah, I mean, just shooting out here at like 45. We were shooting out here at 45 yards, and I remember I was pulled back, and I was sitting here, and I don't know what Cage did, but he came up here and did something to me, and then I got super unstable. I was like,
I scared him with my appearance.
I was like, somebody's watching me, and I was shaky, but I hit dead on perfect shot like I would want a deer. And I'm sitting there, I was shaking, and I was just, and then redialed in and made a good shot. Then I looked at Cage, and I was like, don't do that.
No, and after we sit here and dial in our equipment, there's no truer test than going indoors. There's 0 elements that's gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
Okay, with no wind and no, you're in good temperature. There's no wind, no rain, nothing like that. How on are you? Mm-hmm. And that's the one thing that's like, ooh. Maybe the wind was pushing my arrow a little bit right for me.
Right.
No, and that's just another mental clarification of your equipment.
Yeah.
Which is always super nice.
Basically, it boils down to practice every way possible.
Yep.
Doesn't mean move your sights. Make sure you're dialed in how you want to be.
Yep.
And don't go moving when you're just farting around practicing in different situations.
Because you could be right, it just could be you.
Yeah, you don't be moving it like, now I'm at ground zero and I'm off again. No, you're right the first time.
I've done that where I'll be shooting, and then it's like I shot one group that was like good, and then the next group is just awful, and it's like I can't get back to being stable again, so I'm just like, I'm done. Yeah. So then I come back like the next day and do it, and I'm like, all right, so I'm good. I just can't shoot to save my life when I'm unstable, and that's what I want to work on is stability, because that's a huge thing. Because if I get a hitless buck in front of me, get a little unstable, I don't want to risk making a bad shot.
Yeah.
Hitting stomach or
Well,
like,
and there's
neck.
and you don't have to be unstable. You know, just you don't have to quit shooting when you're not making the groups you want. Now you just know for sure that okay, either I need to really focus here on this next couple shots I want to try and group, or do call it a quits.
Yeah.
But if you call it quits, you're not pushing yourself.
Right.
So your muscles are still gaining, but they're probably not gaining as much as they probably could be.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying hurt yourself if you feel some sort of discomfort.
Yeah,
that's
stop.
not gonna
Yes,
be-
yeah, stop.
That's not gonna be good. But like, anytime you can push your body, say, I don't know if I want to shoot anymore because I just can't seem to hit this group like I want. Mm-hmm. Keep shooting.
Yep.
Keep shooting. See what you really push yourself. Not saying change your sights, just really say, come on, hold it steady, release.
Yep. And one of the things I did last year, just a little bitty bit, and I tinkered with it, and I'm gonna do it a lot more this year, is once you do, because you can get to a point where it's like, man, I'm so fatigued, I just can't bring it in.
Yeah.
Right. And okay, that's a good point. Start blank bailing. You're not aiming at something.
Yeah.
Just work on your form.
Yeah.
Work on just getting reps. Just okay. All right. I'm just hitting. All I'm doing is hitting a hay bale.
Yeah.
Just start repping, and that'll just build muscle
Yep.
to make you be able to last a full draw longer.
Yeah.
There's a million ways
Because
to.
honestly, when it boils down to that muscle memory, what's going to happen when this turkey or this elk is standing in front of you for 25 seconds and you're at full draw? But it's just not out in front of you yet.
Well, and that's the crazy thing.
25 seconds feels like 25 years.
I know, and a lot of these people I've been seeing these videos are at full draw for like a minute and 10 seconds.
Because I even watched a video on Bow Hunter TV. This guy was going on about, I can't remember his name. He's just one of the main guys on Bow Hunter TV. Talking about the elk hunting in general with archery. You have to draw before that elk even shows. Because if you didn't, you drew at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Because if he's on you, you're most likely going to spook him. They just catch you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not like you're hunting in a tree stand. You're on their ground.
Yeah.
And they move, and they cover ground.
Oh, they're fast.
Yeah, they cover ground. And so you've got to draw before you even know it, and then you could be sitting there for almost a minute.
That's insane. That's a lot. That's something we need to
But
practice.
that's the great thing. Like, that switchback is, 65% let off? That new lift is 85 or something?
85. So it's like, well, that's a good thing. Go out and take the switchback and just sit there. Because you're holding like...
Well, if you want to do that, just grab a recurve. Just hold her back a while.
You're holding 30 pounds already, so what's it matter?
I just always pound that in my head because I just look at it at a weightlifting standpoint. If I wasn't pushing myself, I wasn't growing. And if you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing in life and mentality.
Push your limits.
Push it. So like I can't keep a group. Well, just keep shooting just for reps.
Just reps.
Just shoot. You're not. Hey, I mean, you could still try your hardest to hit that dot. But like, dang it, I know my muscles are telling me that you're not gonna hit that.
Yeah.
But at least I'm getting my reps in, so my body I can tell my body, hey, it's time to step it up next day.
Yeah.
You better be, because your muscles they're built to tear and they're built to repair.
Yep.
Once they tear and repair, they're usually stronger, unless you hurt yourself. But when you're shooting a bow, it's all about reps. That's what the reps are for: tear and repair.
Yep. And do not, once you get to the point where you're getting fatigued, you can't get down on yourself.
No.
That you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not hitting where I'm aiming.
Right.
Obviously,
if you just can't pull the bow back, stop.
Yeah, stop. Don't, because then you're just gonna hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Then you're
And
drawing.
if you can't hit the target at all, stop. Don't bother.
But if you're hitting the target,
if you still got that pie plate group and you just want to put some reps in,
keep getting some reps.
Do it.
Yes.
Because guess what happens in a week when you're doing that? Hey, that pie plate turned into a saucer plate,
Yeah. Oh, now I'm into a solo cut.
Yeah.
Well, now you're.
That's when I start to challenge myself, because a lot of times when I shoot now, I don't aim at the dot, I aim at my arrows. Because I can't hardly tell. For some reason the dot, I can't like focus on the dot. I can focus on my arrow. I shoot an arrow at the dot and then I shoot at my arrows. And usually they're right. I can start touching my arrow.
Yeah.
If I'm aiming for the dot, I can't seem to group very well.
It gets expensive. So after I shoot at it once, I'm done shooting at it. I'm gonna pick a different spot on the target. No, that's something I've done. I actually, So, whenever I broadhead tune, you're supposed to shoot the broadhead first.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I did that. And I had my Schwager broadheads, and I shot my field point first on accident. And I was like, well, I'm going to do this. I haven't realized nothing yet. So I shot my field point, and I was like, oh, that was money. This was on sighting in your bow when you gave it to me.
Yeah.
And so I grabbed my other one, not knowing it was a broadhead, shot it, and I was like, whew, boy, them suckers smacked. Like, they smacked each other. And I was like, awesome. I was like, well, it was field points, and I can do nothing. I go down there, and I had wraps on my arrows, and it skimmed the entire wrap and took a whole vein off. I was like, well, that must have been the Schwacker.
Well, I was actually
I'm not doing that again.
Watched a video. The guy says when broadhead tuning, I don't know if it's true or not, but he says it is best to shoot your broadhead first to keep the risk of shredding your other arrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I thought that was smart because, I mean, you do get that real tight bullet hole right there. With 2 arrows, you just messed up an arrow.
I believe some people will actually broadhead tune their bows rather than paper tune their bows.
Yep.
Because it tells you about the same thing. If you're shooting fixed blades.
Yeah, there's no sense in bare shaft tuning if you're shooting fixed blades.
I'm talking about paper tuning with your field point and fletched arrow. He would actually just straight out of the box bow, set it up, shoot his broadheads, because they would tell him which direction things are going.
Right, yeah, because if you tune it to a fixed, then in theory, field point mechanical should hit the exact same place.
Yeah, right.
So what's it matter?
Because the fix is going to be the worst case scenario.
It is. It makes it stiffer.
So it's kind of interesting to watch this video because, he would basically do what he had to do with paper tuning. He would move his rest either way, and it would correct the issue. And there's groups lined up with that one field point.
Who was that? I'd like to look at that.
Oh, gosh. I think it was on Peterson's Hunting or Peterson's Outdoors. No affiliation.
All the affiliation in the world.
But yeah, I was just interested in seeing what he had to, because he just took it right out of the box and set it up, and then and he was actually like, I've done so many of these. I just eyeball the rest and stuff. Right there is good, and then he goes out and shoots it with broadheads. And tunes it with broadheads, and then he steps back a little bit more to really tune them and all that stuff. So,
well, that's really reliant on himself then.
Hey, it's efficient.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not wasting a lot of time. You're just getting out
just
there,
getting straight to it.
I mean, I think he got to hunting camp with a new bow and said, "I'm just going to do it right here," So, and he did.
That's ballsy.
Good enough,
but good for him.
Well, I mean, if you've done it enough, you know what you need to do. It's just like I'm not. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's like nothing to you then. It's like a walk in the park.
Right. It's like saying, I'm going to show up to a service call with just these tools because I know what's going to take.
Yeah, I don't need... I can show up in a minivan with just these tools instead of my whole work truck,
I just showed up on a bicycle and a screwdriver and flashlight, but I'll get it fixed. And I did.
You got to do all this. That's all I need. What about material? Don't need it.
But if you just know.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
I think what would probably be next on a goal for me would be onto food plot. I want to emphasize on spring food plot, so like food plots throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
Because I want them to know there's going to be constant food there, and I want them to be dialed in. Because where I want to have it is not huge at all. Honestly, probably the size of this garage, and I want them to come into me and eat this. I'm gonna do chicory. I want them to come here, eat the chicory or whatever, and there's gonna be beans there, hopefully. So like after that's down, they come to my food plot, and then they've got water there, and they can kind of cross the creek and go to their bedding. But I want that to be like their main spot, is just hitting food plots. And I mean, they worked well when you two planted food plots at
last day. It seemed like they wanted to
oh my gosh,
food plot. I didn't think there was anything left of it.
That monster that we just totally missed out on.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
Seemed great.
It was like negative 25 out.
Yeah, the wind wasn't even that bad. It was only like negative 35 or something like that.
I mean, yeah, it was freezing. We were all bundled up in this shop here.
Hey, like
this is a shop, not a garage. What are you talking about?
I mean,
no.
We could have gone out. I mean, we had heated blinds.
But that shows you the power of it. And now, for your situation, you said you wanted to plant them in the spring.
I want to do a chicory and clover. And I mean, I've never done a food plot, and I don't really know what to look for in it. But I don't know if it's a dumb reason or not, but the chicory and clover, when I looked up that mix together, it just looks appealing. Like it looks like your food plot that you'd see.
Like something you'd eat.
Like if I was that, like I'd.
So yeah, I mean they do say clover is a very good producer of tonnage. Like it produces a lot for what it has, and clover is resilient. It can, because honestly they tell you when your clover gets so tall, mow it down and let it grow again.
Let it grow back.
It's not like it goes away. It just keeps going. And granted, you might have to plant it next year or two, but yeah, clover has a lot of bang for its buck. And clover is like, I know Mossy Oak Gamekeepers preaches clover a lot. They love clover, and it just seems like clover is just definitely a good one to have. What I would say is for a small area, from what I've been researching, because I'm definitely down for doing food plots this year. I really want to implement them on my new farm, and I just been doing a lot of homework on them. They say if it's a small area but you have a lot of deer, you've seen that, they're going to destroy it. So what I would do is probably put it in spring, yes, for sure, just to let them know it's there, and after they destroy it, plant it so it grows back in hunting season.
So don't plant it like summer. Wait until late summer, probably.
I mean, so you said you want to plant it in spring, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be planting here in like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to destroy it come summertime. If it's destroyed, don't rejuvenate it until it can grow back. I think it takes 90 days for it to grow or something. Make sure that happens, and make sure that's happening about October, end of October, when they're growing back, because they're going to destroy it. The number of deer we have, that's why I'm worried about even the food plots I'm going to do. I can actually do some pretty good sized food plots if I get the work done. And I feel like there's so many deer in here, they're going to destroy it regardless how big it is.
So I've seen juries. I mean, we don't have the equipment they have. They come out there with full on water trucks. And it's
Yeah.
like,
You don't have a water truck?
nah, I just called the local fire department, and they went out there, and what, I don't know if it was them or if it was like like one of the people that were recorded their setups or whatever, like how they have it, and they have a food plot, and if it's not big, they take fencing and do an electric hot wire fence.
Yep, I've seen it.
And so I feel like I would want to.
Is that like keeping the deer out for a certain amount of time?
Because the deer are gonna want to go
keep it in front. Is that what you're planning on doing?
I don't know. I think that'd be smart because of how little it is. I think that'd be easy to put a hot wire fence right there.
Do they have a 24-volt hot wire fence?
It's solar.
Oh, solar power one?
It's solar with a little battery, yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, that's what they do. And then whenever they come to the time, like, all right, now you can eat it.
Yep.
Then they take it all down. And I think if I were to do that, I'd let that spring one just go, let them eat it, so then they know it's there.
And then plant another one.
Yes.
Plant
keep
another
them out.
one.
Keep
and
them out of
then
that
one.
hot
Program
wire,
them.
hot
Yes,
wire it.
program them.
That
Like-
they have to
They know.
stay out of
Yeah.
this one.
I know there's some yummy stuff here at some point. That's right by that fence, but don't go touching that.
I'll put a sign that says, "Please come back. I get there first."
Right? So, yeah, actually, I've been nonstop trying to absorb all the information I can for food plots, and Drury Outdoors again is just one of those known people for food plots and making their farms the bee's knees. If
food
I've ever
plots.
seen a knee on a bee,
That's it.
Their food plots are just
right? And
amazing.
they know.
I'm just like,
And
wow.
I think I remember this episode you were talking about. They were hitting a drought, I think, 2 years ago.
drought. Yep, that's what it was.
And they had water trucks. Their guys, they have a guy named Forrest, or
Yeah, Forrest, yep.
is it Forrest?
Yep, right.
Yeah, Forrest and Wade. And,
Yeah, Wade.
And I think Jared.
Yes, Jared.
Jared and Wade are always kind of together. Forrest is kind of always doing his own thing, but always hauling water that year.
And it was insane.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking 1,000-gallon
Yes,
trucks.
because I
Wouldn't
was
they go to a
reading on it.
pond? Wasn't there like a pond at the front or whatever?
So Terry Drury had a pond dug in the middle of his food plot just so he could have that. That was this previous year they didn't have a drought, but the year before that they had a drought. And after that year, he decided I'm going to have a pond dug in my food plot just so I can pump water out if I need to
Really?
water this thing.
and that's the thing I like about where I want to set up my
The
food
creek.
plot, because I have a creek, so I just go out there.
I've seen that creek pretty darn low before.
But I tell you
I
what,
mean,
when
because
it's,
I've walked through that creek before fishing.
Yeah.
I will
So-
say this last year with the rain that we've got, like when it flooded, it was
Oh my gosh.
huge.
That's the problem that scares me with your food plot. Because
Right.
it's
Well,
when,
it's just a risky thing.
Yeah, it is. And, it's not like it's a heavy investment, but it's something. I guess I shouldn't say that because it is, because you're relying on that to get your deer.
And
But it's. You can't tame Mother Nature. So I mean,
No.
it's
just a thing you got to deal with. Drought's probably better than, or I'm sorry, a flood's better than a drought when it comes to food plots. I think most like clover and stuff like that are a little more resilient when it comes to flooding
Yeah.
than say your soybeans did or your corn did.
Right.
You know, for a farmer that has the same field. So, and like I said, if you try and implement the idea I said of middle of August, try to overseed that back area of soybean field that's up against your stands with some winter stuff. That way it grows up in the fall. It's green, and when the soybeans get taken out, that greenery's there. It's not hurting the farm because it's creating green manures for that base soil for next year when the corn's planted. It's got some nutrients in the soil from that food plot that you just had tilled under. But it's also there in the wintertime. If they don't, to me, it's going to be soybeans, so they're probably not going to till it. So that's going to grow from September through spring.
And I think with that right there, doing that chicory and clover in like where I hunted throat punch behind me, that circle, if I were to do that, let that get eaten. Obviously, I want them to know it's there. Then I might plan another one summertime. Just all right, there's another resource. But then when it comes to out in the field, make a bigger one, hot wire it in. It's gonna be open and put a solar panel. I'll get more sun out in that field, and then run that hot wire fence until, honestly, probably what would you do, like a week before opening, or would you probably do it a few days before opening?
Heck, you could just
I would do it.
drop it right before opening.
Yeah, I would probably do it the afternoon before opening
Yeah,
day.
just drop it. Because then they're gonna get curious, and that's when they're focused on that rather than, is there a guy in the tree
Because
here?
because they're always going to go by it, and then once they're allowed to go in it, they're going to know they can go in it. So I wouldn't do it like too soon, but I'm saying probably the day before opening day, drop it so they know it's there. They're probably not going to devour it in one day. Now something this small, possibly.
Yeah, but that shows that, like, if you did it like you were saying, like a week before,
It's gone.
I mean, they know it's there.
Yeah.
And once they know I can get this, it's gonna get demolished.
Yeah, so I'm saying, like, but if you unlock it, unfence it the day before, and that way they know I can come back tomorrow. Once they're up and ready for that opening day afternoon, they're going to be hitting the food source. They're like, yeah, I know where I'm going.
I'm going to that food.
I'm going to that new buffet that opened up.
that new buffet.
I'm not gonna do so. The one that's gonna be inside the timber is probably gonna be the length of from this side of the shop to the opening door. It's gonna be that, but it's gonna be a little wider. But I want let them eat it, rip it up, and then replant it or let it whatever grow or whatever. Just keep it going.
You can overseed it. So basically, what that means is, once something is grown there, throw seed out even as that stuff's growing.
Yeah.
Because that's just going to provide protection for that new seed to grow. Because they're nibbling on that old stuff and that new seed's growing. Then they're going to come in after that new stuff. But it still allows that to grow.
It's not a quarter acre, and this bag I got is like quarter to half an acre.
No. This is like 30 feet by 20 feet.
Yeah,
so
it's not very much.
So I can easily overseed that. And what I want to do is have that just keep them going. Like, I want them on that side because that's daytime. That's where Throat Punch is going. And if he's going to go there, I think other big boys are going to go there.
Well, you've seen that because, honestly, you guys didn't have any encounters with Throat Punch until that day you shot him. But you've had encounters with other bucks
I've had
before then.
Throat Punch was always with a group, bachelor
There's no
group
telling
of
what's bringing this year.
3 or 4 because, and I told him, I was like, I mean, you hunt most of the old property or your guys' permission you guys got this year, and I'm always there, and it's like if I get, hey, Throat Punch is always here this time of day, every so many days, and at that time comes, I'm like, hey, Cage, come out here for the next day or two, blah blah blah, because I think with the source, if I can get it in that corner, I think I got everything going from the CRP field to crick to food.
Yeah.
They're going to stay in that little source so they can just get back to their bed or whatever. I want to do that, and then out in the field, I'm going to make like a big food plot. Like really big, and then I'm going to do the hot wire fence. I'll leave a trail obviously because I want to walk down. and I'm gonna hot wire that in, and then the probably midday or afternoon or whatever, probably do it around like noontime so that they can come in there in that afternoon. But the day before hunting season, take it all down, and hopefully they come out there. But I just want to test out. This would be the first year I've done a food plot like when I'm supposed to, because I mean I told him a few weeks ago he had Throw and Grow, and I stole it from him. It was in his box. I was like, hey, and this was horrible. I did it in October too. I wasn't smart about it. And I was like, I looked in his boxes. I was looking for something I asked him about, and I saw he had Throw and Grow. I was like, I'm just gonna take it. So I took it and went out there, and I took like 6 or 7 water bottles with me, threw it out there, and just poured water. And then little did I know, a week later, you could kind of see it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I had a buck come by. He was big, but I didn't know when to plant it. It never grew any more than that.
Yeah.
So it's like, if I can do it this year, I'm hoping it'll grow to its potential. And I've been looking at it. By Antler King, it's this thing called Jolt. It's like a conditioner or whatever, some sort of thing. And it'll help the soil grow to its max potential.
So because what you're supposed to do for food plot is, and I'm no expert, but I know like from watching other people, they say first thing, get a soil test. It tells you what nutrients your soil is lacking. Like that's exactly what farmers do in these big ag fields. You know, we know people and not too far from us that own a business that do crop consulting.
Mm-hmm.
So their specialty is get soil samples. They get these test results saying, well, you're low in potassium and all this other stuff. I don't even know what the hell it is, but but they'll know. Okay, then you need such and such pounds of lime spread in your field. You need this and that fertilizers and stuff like that, and then it brings your soil levels up to that optimum spot for that plant to grow. And just like even when it's like that's the perfect spot. So if you hit a drought or you hit floods, it still has a good chance of surviving.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you don't have all those lined up, it could be a problem. So and it's definitely not going to get the tonnage, meaning the foliage, how robust plants if your soil conditions aren't right.
I was looking at it. I think it was saying, yeah,
that's
right
what
there.
that does. That's kind of like a fertilizer, is what it is.
Because it says to use the 13.
That's fertilizer.
Yeah, it says to use that 200 pounds per acre, and with that not being a big, I could probably just use one. What do you think? One bag in that circle, or do you think
How many pounds per acre?
It says 200 pounds per acre.
Mm-hmm.
How many pounds is in that bag?
You might want about 50 pounds per acre. Or you might want 50 pounds for your spot. I would just say 50 pounds
So
for a quarter acre.
generous.
So that's probably like anywhere from 5 to 10 bag. I don't know how much that could be. 5 pounds less. I don't.
They're probably a 50-pound bag.
Each bag is about 40 pounds, I think.
Oh wow, I'm way off.
So you 2 bags and you're good. And that's exactly what I did my sunflowers before I moved.
And fertilize it?
I planted it, and then I took my push spreader and I had to pull it and just walked it like right midnight because I thought it was going to rain the next day. So I fertilized over top of what I planted, and it was
So what do you?
Sunflowers.
Do you just take out there, throw the bag, empty it, and then shovel, or like is there something?
Which time I was?
Like for the fertilizer, like how?
For fertilizer, you're gonna have to spread it somehow. Like so, you see the big the guys on Drury and stuff. They have these these little things they just strap to them and they spin and it flings it all out. Or you've got the lawn spreaders like. You just got this little cart with 2 wheels, and once you push it, it spins on the bottom and throws stuff out.
Wow, I really am mistaking what 13 is. I thought it was some sort of dirt. It's like, so this is like a seed or something?
It's not a seed. It's basically got nutrients in this little. To me, it looks like little fish eggs or something.
It is. It's like vitamins for the ground.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was mistaking what 13 was. I was thinking it was some sort
he's thinking of like potting soil.
Yes.
Oh.
That's where I was like, how do you throw that in
potting
there?
soil has the fertilizers in it. Like if you look at Miracle Grow, I don't know if I can list names, but like.
Miracle Whip.
You can see it in the you have soil, and then you have the little bits of fertilizer and this other stuff and whatever the hell that is. And I don't know what science that tells this is, but like there's things that people know these plants need.
Yeah.
But, like usually like there's little bitty balls of like little bitty white balls or look like little bitty eggs or those are typically your fertilizer.
Okay. No, that'll work. Honestly,
They usually have the little green ones.
What's your bag will say. Like I can't remember how this reads. I'd have to look it up again. Somebody probably be like, "You're an idiot." Like whenever you pick up a bag, it says like 13, 13, 13.
Yeah.
That's the ratio of fertilizer to potassium to something else in the bag. That's all the things, like that's the things your soil needs. And that's honestly what a soil test will tell you. Now these guys like Antler King can usually tell you the average soil is probably at this level of pH and whatnot. So you need this type of fertilizer, 13, 13, 13, and this many pounds.
Okay.
On the average soil base to just go with it without getting a test.
It's nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium.
Okay, there you go.
Whatever those mean.
I mean, yeah, nitrogen's
like that. That's what
It's like
it turns your grass really green. I know that.
Yeah.
Because
so
like after a thunderstorm, the lightning lets nitrogen out.
Yeah.
I know that's a really good thing for food plots.
So I guess so going about getting samples and like what I'm lacking or whatever. Do I need to send in a sample, or can I just throw down 2 bags of 13?
You can just throw stuff down. Just do since it's not a large area, you don't want to waste money on getting a soil sample.
Yeah.
People are going to say, yeah, soil sample every time. Do whatever you want to do. I'm not going to guarantee that I'm going to get soil samples done. You can buy soil test kits on Amazon. I can't guarantee they're as great. They're probably not as great as taking it to a lab and their scientist guy saying this is exactly what you've got in your soil.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's going to give you a dang good idea of where to start. But now, also, that bag of Antler King you saw, it says just put this down. 13, 13, 13,
Well,
50 pounds.
I know me and Brandon have never done any soil tests on the old property.
Right.
And our
Right.
food plots have grown just fine.
Basically, I will eventually do a soil test, and that's all part of, look at the Drurys. They have phenomenal food plots.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Mossy Oak Gamekeepers, they have phenomenal food plots because they do the homework. They get the soil samples and stuff. They've got, they have guys working for them to help them do this stuff, to give them the time and labor to build these food plots the way they need them. So I think, for us though, I don't see me getting a soil sample until maybe, some other time, but I might try the first shot, just trying to get a food plot going, spread some, nutrients into the soil and hope for the best.
Yeah.
But that's all we can do. You can do a soil sample. I don't know how much they cost.
I do know the farmer that field already did a soil sample.
Yeah.
So you can always just contact the farmer. I know that personally that it happened.
Which honestly, at that point, if you're doing it in his field, I would not do anything. I would just plant. If he's already doing the soil samples to boost his stuff, granted, it's going to be per soybeans or per corn. Every plant is going to be different of what it needs for its nutrients. But honestly, just go with it because he's already boosting the soil up to a certain level than what it would be just sitting there and nobody messing with it. So I would just spread. Once you got soybeans growing there, go back. What I'm talking about is overseeding. Once he's got the soybeans going, go in August with some winter rye or some wheat, winter peas, and just toss it out there over the standing soybeans and let it grow up between the soybeans.
I was just thinking, when do farmers usually take down their crops? Because I'm trying to think,
last year was a little late.
It was late.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like the farmer this year, he's going
depends.
to do it because if I have my fence up there, I don't know when he's going to go in. Usually it's after hunting season starts though, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
first or second
you
week.
ain't going to be able to do your fence. If you're doing it around his beans, I wouldn't put up a fence with
he'll tear it down
until he's got his beans out. But you can do it around that one other spot you're talking about.
Well, yeah, you do need to be careful because even with the sprayer,
yeah,
they're going to be spraying.
Yeah, you don't know when they're going to
bugs
go out there.
and for more moisture and just stuff for the plants,
Jeepers creepers.
And you don't want all them in there. But yeah, you gotta have that in so you're putting your food plot and then inside of the field might have to be unfenced. So that might want to be your spring one.
Unless, so it's not
I
going
wonder
to
if I can talk to the farmer, maybe not buy obviously, but
buy. That's what I was getting ready to say.
Buy that section, or
Pay him. Say how much.
Yeah.
How much can you save these 2 acres? Don't touch these 2 acres beans. Now, doesn't mean the guy out there that's going to go, because the farmer is not usually the same guy that's spraying. That's just some fertilizer company that comes out contracted to spray. So he's not going to know not to run that over.
And that's where I would like to have my fence up then all the time, because if he's spraying,
I would imagine though he's not going to be spraying that late in the game. You don't want to plant. Don't plant that early in the game, because if they spray, there's a chance it's going to kill what you planted.
Yeah. Because what could help theirs might hurt yours.
Right. I mean, honestly, pests or herbicides are made to kill other plants.
Because they want their plants to have all
they
the
don't want any
nutrients.
competition from weeds. And basically, it's not saying like, oh, this thistle is the only thing it's going to kill. No, it's killing broadleaf plants or other grasses or whatever, which rye is a grass. Mm-hmm. Whatever you might want to plant might be in that list that's going to be killed off by a herbicide. And
that's just part of it, and that's and to think about it, at least to keep moving forward, we don't have to worry about food plots with elk.
Yeah, right.
So that is really nice.
That's something I've always been looking forward to doing, trying. That's my bucket list. That's one of my bucket list hunts, really, if not my only one. Elk hunting. You see in the shows the surrounded by elk bugles.
Oh my gosh!
And here comes this pile of elk coming in and just connecting with a bull. He's 10 yards away from you. It's just that's one of my all-time elk hunt. It's just gotta be in my all-time archery, especially. Would be just awesome to pull that off. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm hoping we can do this year.
Yeah. Well, these lifts are the real deal, man, and the elk hunt would be a testament to that.
Yeah.
It would be a crazy cool thing.
I think we got a lot of prep work to do for elk hunting. We got to learn how to call. We're gonna have to learn. Well, I mean, we're gonna have to exercise.
I got that down.
Yeah, buddy. Let me get that Mountain Dew.
That's why I'm drinking that diet.
Yeah, diet is good for you.
So I'm no,
that's a huge thing.
We're gonna be putting packs on our backs, putting some weight in them, and going up and down hills and stuff. I'd say would be a good idea to try and get in shape for it.
Might just have to start
now, if it happens.
I'm gonna start out on the treadmill first. Make sure I can.
You need to put on some pounds, bud. we need to lose. You need to gain.
How about this? I take what you guys got, all right, and then
Connor can just be the cameraman.
Yeah,
we didn't get on camera because he didn't keep up with it.
I'll video you guys walking down the hill.
He's wheezing way back there.
I'll take a bike around the mountain and then meet you guys coming back up the hill.
Yeah, no, but that elk hunt, we have been talking about that since. Honestly, me and you have been talking about that before we even thought about this.
Right.
We've been talking about that forever.
I've always wanted to do an elk hunt.
For 5 years now. And
we got some places in mind. It sounds like it might be possible. I think we have one, like almost prime state we're wanting to go to.
Yeah.
We don't know if it's going to be a luck of the draw thing. It might. I mean, it probably will boil down to luck of the draw. But we also, I think, do we still have another state in the back of our minds just in case?
I think that was the other one.
Southern, right?
I think it's just a couple states below that one.
I mean, so yeah. Basically, we're gonna shoot for Montana.
Yep.
And then if we can't make Montana happen, we're gonna maybe try Colorado because I know somebody that goes to Colorado almost every year now for elk hunting. But I know there's a lot of competition in there.
Yes. That was our big thing. We read that Montana is not, or we read that Colorado is very hunter heavy.
Yes.
Because it's the most populated elk state.
Yeah.
And
their tags aren't as hard to get as others.
Colorado?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what makes it such a big state for going.
And that's where we were talking about this forever, and we just decided, after looking at all the states, that Montana is probably our best state for us as a team.
Well, plus, to go after all first. The times I've looked into it, it's never been cut and dry of how you do it. Right. And then I finally found something online. I don't know if they just made this last year or what, but something that just walks you through the process of what you've got to do to actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These steps will get you legally to hunt this state.
Yes.
That's all I needed to know. I don't need.
Yeah, I don't need all
it's like
this.
this. It's like this whole thing has been a secret to the world because nobody wants to tell anyone exactly what you got to do. Because I am stupid when it comes to hunting out of state. I've always hunted in Illinois. You know.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about it. You know. And that's, you know, just wraps right into turkey. That's just another, you know, belt on our notch that we can learn from, you know.
Yeah.
Notch on our belt. Did I say that backwards?
Yeah.
I said belt on our notch.
However you want to notch your belt. it's
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, or if you want to belt your notch. So, but no, that is a dream hunt. Regardless, I'm going in with the expectations of, you know, obviously
not coming back with
not coming back with anything. So that way I'm not, you know, I don't get down on myself.
Right.
You know, and
Well, I know it's a big feat as it is.
it is.
I mean, honestly, guys that just hunt whitetails, I have maybe done like a spot and stock every once in a blue moon on a whitetail just because it was just a circumstantial thing.
Mm-hmm.
It just worked out how that worked. Didn't say I connected, but I mean,
Because I didn't.
when you're talking about elk, it's all you do is
Spot
stalk.
and stalk, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you spot them. Well, you might not spot and stalk. You'll call and stalk.
Yeah, it's not just
Whitetail, throw this tree, stand up, and come on, baby.
Pop up in this evergreen.
Yeah.
I will say one thing I'm like really looking forward to, and I see it in all these videos. I want to find a watering hole so bad and
Right?
just sit there and watch them. I just
That
want
would
to see.
be the prime right
But
there.
when I see that, like, I want to be like 500 yards away because that's when hundred thousands of elk are just gonna be
I
coming
know,
there.
right? I'll just be like,
Oh my
what
God.
do
That's
I
when
do?
you're like, yeah, this target panic did not help.
What do you mean target bound? I pulled back.
I'm loading 4 arrows in this shot here. What?
That's when you pull back and you see all the elk heads just turn to you.
Oh,
and you just
yeah.
undraw your bow
Yeah,
and set
I
your
bet.
bow
Please
down.
don't eat me.
I'm bad.
They're such big animals too.
They're just giant whitetails.
compared to whitetails, it's like
We need. They need to want to make those elk ones that for your bow and go down in the water and act like you're drinking.
or pop up out of the water.
Yeah, no, that would be
Slow montage.
that elk hunting. I watch a lot of Elk Shape. I'm sure a lot of people know him, but all he does is elk hunt. Well, but not all he does, but 95% of the time he's elk hunting, and watching his videos. Holy cow! He doesn't reveal what unit he's in.
Right.
I'm sure he's hunting New Mexico
But that's
or Wyoming,
another aspect
Colorado.
of it that's been confusing.
The units.
There's
dude.
a unit,
What
and then there's
the
a section of the
freak
unit.
does that matter? What does that mean? You know,
It's like, oh my gosh! And then this permit is only allowed for this unit and this section of that unit.
you know, and the most confusing thing you did is you sent me this photo. It's like, oh, this tag is available for every unit in Montana except these.
Right.
I'm like, oh, then why would you tell me every unit?
I didn't say it. They just said it.
no, the text said it. That's what I was like. Well, that was stupid.
But I was like, man, if that's going to be our option, that's going to be probably a good option because it gets all but like 4 units or 4 sections. Something.
those must have the big ones on.
It's going to be a math test, just trying to figure out what we can do there. I'm just going to pull up to a game warden. Hey, can you tell me where I can hunt?
I tell you what,
Did you see anyone poaching
This
anything?
tag here.
I don't.
Where can I be?
I don't know if this goes for elk hunting.
Go home.
I was watching a
Oh,
freaking this warden show on
The Montana Wardens.
the Yellowstone Warden or whatever,
Oh.
and they have was guy in Montana, and I know he caught these people not doing the right thing or something like that, and you have to go when you're on public land. There's this box at the very
Yes,
front,
yes.
and you have to
Yeah,
sign
check
in
in,
and
yeah.
everything. I didn't know you had to do that. You have to check in, and then the warden or somebody can go out
every
there.
time.
Yep.
So if you do something illegal,
Really?
they can be like, "All right, let's go to the check-in box," and they're like, "If your name's checked in and everything,
Well, even
like, you're
that's
good."
illegal if you went there and didn't check in, you know? So
Yeah, if
did
you didn't
not
go
know
there,
that.
yeah, because he goes, these people they like shot they went under the fence and then shot it, and then
Oh, I remember the red truck. Yes.
yeah, I don't know what color truck.
I remember that.
And then they went in there and he goes, "All right, let's just go to the check-in. You know, you don't have your license or anything." And I guess he told the guy his name was Donald, but he signed in as Don. And I was like,
Oh, okay,
And he
yeah.
goes, yeah. So I go, okay, yeah, you are signed in. Just making sure, because if you weren't signed in,
I
that's
remember
highly
that
illegal.
episode.
I was
Wait,
like,
so you have to, before you go out hunting in the morning?
there are certain places you have to sign it. No, it's at the place. It's at the actual before you basically enter that because there's like only certain
Before
places,
you enter that unit?
there's only certain areas you can drive in. Like there's only certain spots that you can drive.
Okay.
And then you stop and you walk.
but before
Oh,
you go,
yes, okay. I
right
remember
there, you have to. There's a box of signing in.
So there's a big old lot, like what we would see if we go to our public land, except it's like 10
Yeah.
times bigger.
Yeah.
And it's where multiple people park. But right when you drive in, before you park, there's a box right there, and you open the box, take it out. It looks just like this, except it's a lot smaller.
You get a package
Take it
of
out.
cookies.
That'd be nice.
They actually say there's
You're taking a couple of them. Like, oh, that's a snack for later.
and you have to sign in all your information. I would assume, I don't know if you have to do anything about your tags or not, but like you have to sign in your name and
I
everything.
think you put your permit number down or something like that. But
yeah, but and if you don't do that and say you got a deer, then like
It's gone.
Yeah, that's gone. You're not getting that back.
good job. You shot something.
You
for
shot a 7
donations.
by. You just shot a 7 by, and you didn't sign in,
Shot
so
a
that's ours now.
monster.
That's insane.
Yeah, I noticed that. So I
We're
was
gonna
like, I
have
was
to
like,
be on. We're gonna have
That's
to,
what I'm saying. We have a lot of homework to do. That's
wonder if
gonna
we
be
could-
interesting this year. I
do you
think.
think we could? I'm sure there's people we
Right.
could go to, but
Yeah.
when you get
Well,
in Montana,
I
go
think-
to like a.
Just like everybody says, number one thing to do if we're really concerned about it, we just need to call it Montana DNR.
yes.
And we're going to take and say, I know you probably heard this thousands of times if people could actually do call in about this to you. But what the heck do I need to do to hunt?
I don't want to shoot something and then not
I
take
don't,
it home
I
with
don't
me.
want you guys to own me or anything like that after I do anything there.
That's when you go to like the prime spot and you get something like, oh, we forgot to tell you this part. And you're like,
right.
Wait, you mean
good thing it was just a 3 by.
my truck doesn't count as my bow? Dang it.
I was on the highway.
No, that's a lot of stuff that.
It
And
just
that just goes to show. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we still got to figure out.
you know, we're opening brand new doors right now.
Well, I know we figured out we need to apply by this date.
Yep.
And then they're going to draw after a certain date. And then if we're out of luck, then we don't get to go there.
Then we buy.
Hopefully one of us
virtual reality.
doesn't.
What's gonna be weird, what's gonna be nutso, is say I drew this tag section blah of unit whatever. You drew that tag of section whatever.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
like 1,400 miles or 100 miles away or something.
Oh, so
Who's? It's gonna be a rock paper scissors. Who's going first?
wait, so it's sections that you get drawn for? It's not like say we all went
Now,
like
so
I thought we could all apply for the same area.
you apply. I believe you apply for the general hunting license, and that will allow the general elk hunting license or the deer elk combo. That will get you into a lot of places in Montana. But if you want a certain prime section, you have to apply for that permit after you draw the general license.
Okay, so if you get the license, you're golden.
If you get the license, you're golden for certain spots. Yes.
Okay, but then you can pay extra X amount of dollars for prime
It's like
time.
$9.
Okay, so
Because
nice.
that's how they do it. That's what's weird. It's backwards to us, right? Here, you buy a hunting license at the Menard or Walmart, and then you buy your tag.
right.
So, but you can't kill an animal. I can't go out and kill a deer with my hunting license here in Illinois. I have to. So in Montana, you're getting this elk deer combination license, but I think you also have to get an archery license. Like I don't know, it's $50 or something. So you get this general elk. You get this general elk license, and that allows you to elk hunt in certain general hunting areas.
So their license is like our tag.
That's the tag, pretty much.
okay. But
Now,
then,
I'm not
but then,
100% yet, but I know it says you have to get the elk general license first before you can apply for some of those special sections.
okay. So
Because I sent you something about archery only sections would be nice to.
yeah, that
apply
would be
for.
cool. So you can get if you get the general elk/deer tag
You need that period just to hunt.
period just to hunt in Montana,
Yes.
and then you can hunt X amount of spots in Montana.
Yes.
But then, if you want primetime spots or better spots or archery only spots, you can go in after you have that
Yes.
license and be like, okay, I want to hunt this
You
part of
wanna apply
Montana, this
for
part of
this
Montana,
place,
this
yeah.
part of Montana, and apply for them.
Yes.
Not saying you're going to get
That's
it,
my understanding of it, yes.
but you applied for it.
Yes. And they don't cost nearly as much as the general license. Because basically the general license is like getting a tag. It guarantees you a shot at going and getting an elk in those general hunting areas. Now, they're more expensive, that's for sure. And then once you get the tag, you get to apply the tag. They're definitely not expensive compared to the general hunting license.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's going to be expensive, but it's also
Right.
something we've been talking about, so
gonna be
we're just going to do it.
Friggin' awesome.
It's going to be awesome.
It's going to be an adventure.
It's gonna outweigh the pockets. So.
Say it's gonna be like a one-time adventure, but it's like
Oh no.
Yeah, first, like, no, we're gonna do it every year. I'm saying, like, but like we're
We
saying,
can
it's like
Yeah, we're never gonna try.
it's a one-time thing, but it's just that first hunt you go to, you're like so new to it, and then the next year, like, all right, we went here, but we saw when we went scouting here. It's just helping build up each year.
You know, because
You're learning.
Because if we can learn Montana,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we know Montana, so let's go to a different state. And if something fails while we're on this trip, we can scurry up to Montana and maybe figure something
Possibly.
out.
Now, I mean, honestly, for anyone that doesn't draw, they can also opt in to keep a point for that
Yep.
place. So I think I read if you have 1 point, it's 75% chance of drawing a tag.
Yep.
And after you have 3 points, it's a 99% chance
Yeah.
of drawing a tag.
Now, say me and you got it. Cage is the cameraman. Can he still go but not hunt?
So he might have the chance. He can still go. Yeah, it's legal.
I know. I watched this one thing though, but
I
saw.
cannot shoot the bow.
I know.
Yeah,
and I
you
saw
can't
this
touch
one
it.
thing for private land. Like if you go there to do that, you had to put down like $1,500 to be the cameraman. I don't know if that's how it is for public land, but I saw this one, like New Mexico or something. I don't know where it was. You have to put down money.
We'll
If
stick
you're-
with- we'll stick
if
with
you're
public.
just a guest, just a guest who's not hunting, you still have to put down
I mean,
thousands.
that's a whole different game there too. If you're wanting to go in there and try to get private permission,
Holy cow.
that's even harder because we don't know anybody.
No, I don't
Hey,
know.
guy,
Hey, buddy.
you know me.
I'm coming back. Don't you remember me?
I mean, I was here last year, right?
In the year before, I think.
Never let anybody hunt.
I mean, I
here.
almost
Yes,
live
you
here.
I mean, I've been in this back camper
have.
forever.
The back 40 is really
But-
where it's at.
I mean, so honestly, though, there are over-the-counter options too. So say we get an elk tag, he might still be able to go over the counter for a mule deer tag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's not like I've shot myself in the
And
foot
that's
and I'm
no-
just gonna be a cameraman.
That's another bucket list thing of mine. Shooting a mule deer. Those things are huge.
Yeah, dude, they're freaking cool. And with the even, just to even throw a little more of a mix, there's regulations on these animals.
Yeah.
You know, in Montana, I'm pretty sure it has to be a 3x. Has to have 3 points off the beam.
There's certain areas where it's called a brow tine area. It has to have at least a brow tine. It can't be a spike.
So if it has
So-
the two mains and then the brows,
Yes.
you can shoot that.
Yeah, I know from watching the Montana game, the Montana Wardens thing, there are areas that are brow tine only areas. There's areas you can't shoot a cow. There's areas, it's just crazy. It's
Brow tine only?
like, no, I'm saying like only animals with at least a brow
Oh,
tine.
at least. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
you can't shoot a spike.
I was gonna
out
say,
there.
what happened to the 7x7 walk out? What?
Nope,
Let that
nope,
walk?
you don't get to shoot it.
You're waiting for the little one.
You get the little one.
What? Are we shooting the coal back here or something? So no, but
Jeez.
that's
I'm just dreaming of being able to walk away with an elk, period. A legal elk, period. If it's a monster, it's a monster. But even if it's not, it's going to be freaking.
it's an elk.
If we just even get the chance to even pull back on one, it's you got. Because you just accomplished something that you never had to do as a whitetail hunter.
Yes, and that
It's
is
nuts.
stock and
Even if we don't get something, I think we're gonna die laughing. I mean,
It's
just think
going to be a memory.
it is
because
gonna be
for
so
sure.
how we
awesome.
are just whitetail hunting after a hunt. We went from hunting and we got out at 8:30 to spending 4 hours out there just shooting and just laughing. It's like
And honestly, I think that's a goal this year. I believe is we should. It's more of a channel goal, but I think we ought to video more of that, of us just
hanging
being
out,
us,
yeah.
hunting.
Like
Because
more-
you do see it on like the Bone Collector crew and stuff like that. You know.
Oh, them just going back to the cabin and hanging
farting
out, yeah.
just being like us. It's like, man, that'd be so cool to. Because you think, to me, I always think, man, it'd be cool just to hang out with them because they're just like us when it comes down to it. Because we're all hunters.
They're
That's-
just having fun.
That's all we're
once
doing.
you get back
right?
to the
Fun.
cabin, it's really just raw stuff. It's like there, and I mean how we are outside of hunting. Say something, and somebody dies laughing.
Yeah,
and
yeah. Food goes flying across the
It
table.
is. It's fun. It's
let us.
we have. I don't know. I think it is going to be a super exciting year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of stuff. I'm eager to see how it's going to unfold.
And there's so much stuff we didn't even talk about for
I know.
2024 that we probably didn't even think to put on the list.
I know.
I mean, honestly, another thing, on my property, I'm wanting to throw up blinds. I'm working on building some blinds. I think it's going to be a different ball game. I know you guys have tower blinds on your places, and I think you're probably going to put some on the new property. I think I heard you guys talking about.
I think
and I
they
think
wanna-
that's a different entirely too, because the Drurys talk about Well, if the wind's bad, I go in that blind because I can kind of control my scent a lot
Yeah.
better in that.
That's
And it gives you that element hunt too.
Well, you know what the biggest thing is about the blinds, and something with how you're making yours, not going in any detail, but how you're making yours is so ideal.
With the bathroom? Yeah.
Yes, with the actual toilet and the door and
Yeah.
And a couch.
And a phone
Yeah.
for delivery
yeah,
calls.
and it's got 12240 in there, so we're all good. No, but how you're making yours, I know a lot of people said, "Oh, this is for like these blinds are for the bow hunter."
Yes, yes.
They're really
yes.
not.
Yeah.
You know, in a sense, okay, yeah, it
Right.
it accommodates
how
a
a lot
bow
of people
hunter.
build theirs for the bow hunter.
But how you're doing it without sharing any detail until it's done,
it's private.
until the product is live.
yeah.
It is so much more tailored to a bow hunter than any blind on the market.
Right.
It is way more because you are a bow hunter and
Yeah.
you're a bow hunter building it.
Now, I'm not saying, so I'm sure manufacturers would build theirs compared to what they do now. I'm sure they would build it 100% bow hunter. Because at the core, every manufacturer of something like this, there's a hunter that's building it.
Right.
Somewhere, there's somebody designed it that was a hunter. They're like, I want to make it just like this. But the truth is, when it comes to actually bulk multiplying and manufacturing something, you have to take shortcuts. We can't make that like that every time.
They need quantity.
Yeah, yes. So they're kind of narrowed down by what their manufacturer says. I can produce this product, but I can't keep doing it like that. If you want cheap, then you need to do it like this, and that's probably where they sacrifice the bowman windows,
Right, and
the bow windows,
and
stuff
that's
like
where
that.
yours, on how you showed me and laid it out, I'm just like, dude, this is gonna be baller.
Yeah. I'm hoping it turns. I mean, I just get stoked every time I get a little part of it done. It's like, oh man, this is coming together.
I'm almost ready to shoot out.
I pass out in excitement, and then I wake up. What was I doing? No, but it's just awesome. It's just gonna be, because I know what I want out of it, and that's exactly how it's gonna be, and I know it's gonna change every time I build another one. It's gonna be, well, I wish this was like that. Well, now it can be.
Yeah, see, because you got another
Yeah.
one to do, and then, but that's for a later video.
Right.
We're actually.
But that's just one of the things I want to. That's what I'm going to key on in 2024 is the blinds, the food plots, elk hunting, turkey hunting.
Yep.
And number one of all is going to be practicing.
Practice.
Because there's going to be so many things that are going to test us this year, and we're not even talking about the whitetails.
No, we haven't even gotten into whitetail. No, whitetails are backbone, but now we're growing arms and legs and going elk,
Yeah.
turkey, and all
And I
this
mean-
other stuff.
We can practice as much as we want for elk hunting, but being our first time, once you get out there, what you practice of being so like, okay, like once you get in that moment, it's all gonna be like kind of just become a blank at first.
Well, that's
Like,
why that's why I always say practice crappy,
Yep.
because so beautiful is a breeze.
Yep.
So it's practice the worst case scenario. So when you're in the best case scenario, oh, that was fantastic. You
Yeah.
know, it's not,
Well, I can't remember what that saying is. It's like, if you shoot, I can't really remember what the saying is, but it's something about like, I can't remember. I really can't. It's something about the worst is the best.
oh yeah. Basically, yeah, it's just a matter of making sure that you are signed up and in the game for the most terrible situation, and you know what to do, rather than being unprepared.
Yes.
So that way, when you don't have to deal with that situation, it's even better because you just made a fantastic shot in an easy situation.
Right, and that's where if you can practice, regardless of you're in this situation, if you have the dedication to your practice, you should be fine come that actual moment. Okay, everything you've been teaching yourself, that's when all your emotions are ramping up, but your dedication has to come back to ground zero and be like, all right, just how I practice.
That's
Let's
the thing.
breathe, get on trigger, get on target. Let's pull.
Man, when we're talking about elk hunting and we're spending a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money for a non-resident to hunt
My
somewhere.
gosh.
I think it's gonna be $1,000. It's gonna be over $1,000 easy, just the tag and license,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
and that doesn't even require the hotel.
And you're talking about trying to make this happen in a week. So basically, if I'm trying to practice here for somewhere I've never been, I'm gonna try and practice whatever I can think of.
I'm practicing my freaking little booty off.
I'm gonna practice in my underwear in the rain. I mean, it's gonna be.
I'll one up you. I'll practice in my Speedo in the rain.
But I'm talking about like we have a week. Is it gonna be
one
rain?
week.
Is it gonna be raining that week? Is it gonna be snowing?
See, that's the thing.
Is it gonna be a hurricane?
I will swim to that elk. Regardless of what happens, we have got to be ready for it.
Exactly.
And I know our mindsets. We can do this.
Right.
I know we can.
Yes.
And we're going to. Because YOLO and it's a lot of money. So I'm going to take
A lot of people I see, they leave, say they're going on that week, Sunday to Sunday, come home that Sunday or whatever. They're leaving Thursday or Friday that week before going down.
It's going to be a drive. It's 16, 18 hours.
Yeah, I would have to
they're
assume.
scouting the night in the morning, and then they go out that next night.
We'll probably leave on a Thursday, get there on that Friday. You know,
shoot our equipment.
Yes, and we have that Saturday and Saturday, Sunday, right?
Yeah.
To scout and maybe get out and tableau hunting, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, let's dive.
Yeah.
Like we're getting into this.
Yes.
And then come back Friday, Saturday with 5 elk because we just killed it.
Exactly.
Like we all are drone back at one time. And
we're going to need a bigger truck. It's going to be like Jaws. You're going to need a bigger boat. We're going to need a bigger truck.
Well, when we get down there with whatever truck we take, we'll just trade it in and get a bigger one.
You guys have a semi?
You can by chance.
We're going to have to get a truck and trailer and just deck the trailer out.
I need a 52-foot
Honestly,
cargo.
I foresee us needing to pull a cargo trailer.
Oh my God.
I was talking to him about it. I said, we ever went on an elk hunt, you build a trailer with the
he had a really good idea.
You enclose it, and you keep our bows in there, and then on the sides, if you need to work on something for your bow, blah blah, then you keep your targets in there, and then your truck obviously is for everything, but also like the elk or whatever. Obviously,
he was saying pretty much get like a 20-foot cargo.
Yeah.
And then we could wall off a little part of the nose. That could be our bow station if something's happening with our equipment.
Yeah.
The backside is where we're at. We stay, and just like that.
Sleep in there?
Yeah, you can sleep in
right.
there.
I've heard people doing
and that beats, paying $120 a night for a hotel motel.
That's what I'm saying.
Holiday Inn.
Well, also what I'm seeing is like practicality. A truck with 5 guys in it, if we're not taking more than one truck, you're going to not have any luggage in the truck.
It's all going to be
It's going to be in that trailer.
Or the bed.
If
The problem is,
it's raining.
The problem is if you don't have a trailer.
You got to think, dude. There's 5 bows, 5 sets of luggage.
Yeah.
5 gear.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of stuff.
You're talking about the pack for... you can show everybody your pack that you got for doing this elk hunt. These things aren't anything like a whitetail pack. Everybody's seen these on TV and whatnot, I'm sure. But imagine that thing's going to be full of stuff. And then on top of that, if we're good, it's full of elk on the way back home. Like I've been saying.
If we get an elk, we ain't making it back home. We get on the hill.
I don't want to be stuck there just because I killed something I wanted to do.
We're going to need to tie a string that knows where we came from so we can just hold on to that string and drive ourselves back up the hills.
People are going to be asking where your elk are, but we had to leave them.
Yeah. It was fun, but I
just couldn't bring it back. But no, that is...
Didn't think about that.
Didn't get that far. But no, I think we have a really exciting year ahead of us.
Oh, yeah.
It is going to be a bonkers year, but it's going to be this is going to be a really backbone year for Unfringed. Yeah. I do think.
Yep. I think it's just going to be really great for anybody that wants to watch us, anybody that likes watching us. Thank you for that support. But we're trying even harder, not just to bring you guys stuff, but stuff we've always wanted to do in the first place. And just being able to do it on a video basis is going to be that much better.
Right.
If we can connect as novice elk hunters and then doing it in video is kind of like a novice elk crew. We're our novice video crew. We're not professionals at this video hunting. So it's gonna be great to bring everybody along and I'm just really stoked if we can connect with this elk hunt, man. Oh, whether we actually kill an animal or not, like any other time we hunt, it's just about the experience. It's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be. It's gonna be cool to watch this all unfold. But no, I think we've hit on everything. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we've hit on everything besides,
there's umpteen thousand things we could be talking about, but
we'll cover that in another one. There's always more podcasts to come for sure, and hopefully you guys keep tuning into them.
Yep. I totally agree. So I think with that, everybody like, comment, subscribe, share to your
Exactly.
friends. You know, tell your mother, brother, sister, cousin.
Tell them all. Tell everyone.
Tell them all.
Tell a
because-
chicken. Tell your dog.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and Roy will thank you for that.
Yes. Roy thanks you.
Roy thanks you a lot for your subscribance to the channel. So yeah, with that, just subscribe and share to everybody.
Please, folks, subscribe. We're trying to hit that milestone of 1,000 subscribers. We haven't hit 100 yet.
Yeah.
So we're trying. Just come on, folks.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you
Come
gotta.
on.
I know we looked at analytics and 88% of you guys are swiping, and we
So
want
chances are you're not watching anymore at this point in time.
yeah, but we want you 88% people. So we have a lot of cool content coming. So if you just
We're trying to make it better for you. We're trying
Yeah.
to make it more interesting. We're trying, and we're working with what we got. We're
Yep.
just the working class folks, so
Yes,
we're just
we are.
trying.
so well, I think that's it. Remember, like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate it.
Connor, you got something?
I do. I got a joke. Got the
Oh,
joke?
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right. All right. So an 8-pointer, a 4-pointer, and a button buck are standing by a field browsing acorns. The 8-pointer says, "I'm happy with my 10 does. We're really getting along." The 4-pointer says, "I'm happy as heck with my 5. They really take care of me." The button buck says, "My 2 are all right. Better than nothing, I guess." Then all of a sudden, a giant 14-pointer walks out into the field. 3 bucks had never seen anything like him before. They were in awe. The big buck made a huge scrape. He pissed in it, rubbed a tree the size of a telephone pole, and snapped it off the ground. The 3 bucks looked on in amazement. The 8-pointer says, "Yeah, you know what? I could probably get by with 4 does. Who really needs 10 anyways?" 4-pointer says, "You know, come to think of it, I only really use 1 or 2 of mine anyways." The button buck was silent as the other 2 bucks looked over to him in confusion. The button buck was silent as the other 2 bucks. And suddenly the button buck runs out into the middle of the field. He rips and tears up some grass. Pisses all over the place. He snorts. He wheezes. And then he rubs his head raw on a tree and chews a licking branch clean off. Then he runs back over to his buddies. His friends immediately ask him, "What the heck are you doing?" "I'm just making sure that big old son of a gun knows I'm a buck."
Thanks, Roy.
Thanks, Roy.
Attaboy, Roy.
Well, I think with that, I think this podcast is coming to a wrap.